One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. So let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart of steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar. Insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report and paves his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Happy day to everyone in the building, man. Shout out and much love, honor, and respect to everybody here, man. Listen, you guys could have been anywhere else in the world, but you guys decided to be right here with me. I'm very much appreciate it. Listen, we've got a lot going on in the media. Actually, I thought it was going to be 10 stories that we're going to do this morning, but actually we just added one right before we started the show. A lot of shit going down in the fucking media, as per usual now. It seems like this has been something that we've been just nonstop on for the last bare minimum 3 weeks, really, but it's been kind of just nonstop. So anyways, this is the title of what we're going to be dealing with today is Senate healthcare and defense votes. That is supposed to be sometime today. I don't know if I'm going to actually be able to cover that because we're only on the air for an hour. We're going to see, as well as US-Venezuela escalations. We do have some updates on that, as well as Mangione hearing and more. Now, of course, I can't fit everything that is actually happening in the title. So this is let me go ahead and break it down, tell you guys what our chronological storyline here is. So yesterday, breaking, oil tanker seized off of Venezuela coast. That was a big deal, and we're going to talk more in depth about that. I'm not going to go ahead and break it down here right now. No point, because we're going to talk about that quite a bit today. Multiple children injured in a car crash in Anaheim, California. Now, that is brutal. I actually lived in Anaheim for about a year. Yeah, that's terrible. I guess there was some sort of, I don't know. It wasn't a bus. It was some sort of, auto accident, though, Anyways, also, another big thing that happened yesterday is the Fed rate was cut. What it means for basically consumers and what is going to happen is we're going to break that down a little bit in this morning's show. And then we're going to go back into the discussions of U.S. seizes oil tanker off of Venezuela. Oil prices are up or rises, especially for Venezuelans. And then another update on the oil tanker seized by U.S. used in, quote, illicit shipping network, FBI says. So now the FBI obviously made a statement on that. We have that. And then Washington flooding, statewide emergency declared. Now, let me go ahead and read this real quick. Heavy rain and strong winds continue to impact Washington state, causing major flooding and road closures. Evacuation notices have been sent out to multiple areas in western Washington. That's fucking brutal. And the video that we see here, that you guys are going to see here in a minute, it's actually pretty damn fucking flooded, dude. And I know what flooding looks like. And then we have Australia begins enforcing social media ban for children, and that means anybody that's 16 16 years of age or younger, basically is going to be a ban for any of those kids to be on any type of social media whatsoever. It's the very first country to actually do this and implement something that is a nationwide ban. Very interesting. So, anyways, ex-Michigan football head coach arrested hours after being fired.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Bruh.
Former Michigan Wolverines head football coach, now I don't even know who this guy is, but Sharon, is that how you say it? Moore, was recently fired for allegedly having, quote, inappropriate relationship with a staff member. Was booked into a Washington, I don't know what that is, county, it's a certain county, jail on Wednesday night. Police in Pittsburgh Township reported that they responded to a home for an assault investigation and took a suspect into custody in an incident they said was not random. Although Moore is confirmed to be in custody, no formal charges have been filed yet, and the case is currently under review by Washtenaw. That's how you say it. Washtenaw County prosecutor. I just had to sound it out. Okay, back. We have just an hour ago an update regarding this whole tanker that was seized by the U.S. Venezuela's Maduro responds, quote, prepared to take teeth.
Oh my God!
It's going to be some shit going down on this. And then, as of 46 minutes ago, Charlie Kirk assassination to make first in-person court appearance. That's just 46 minutes ago. And then anti-ICE protesters interrupt Noam during, quote, worldwide threats hearing. And I guess this is some big, she's testifying on worldwide threats to the United States. And she gets interrupted by some anti-ICE protesters, as they usually do. That's what they do. They get paid to do that shit anyways. None of that shit. It's political theater, bro. This is what they do. Anyways, listen, real quick, let's go ahead and get into the call to actions real quick, and then we can get right into this shit because we got a lot to cover here. Make sure you guys hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. If you guys are brand new to the channel, man, hit that subscribe button because it's also free. But let's go ahead and get the money part over. Please consider becoming a member starting only at $2.99 a month, making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is what allows us to keep these lights on and be on these airwaves. So I very much appreciate you guys becoming members and staying members. Follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news. Also a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one, and I also post a whole bunch of my political stuff, and I'm on the campaign trail right now, and I post a lot of that shit. So make sure you guys go follow me over there. As well as we have a Discord server for all of you legends. One of the moderators will drop the link for you guys to join up. But if not, go into the link down below. If you guys are watching this on the playback or whatever, go in the video description down below, and that's where we have all the invite links. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, well, then we have these platforms right here, of course, that you guys can donate to, and I get 100% of the proceeds, by the way. And I will read out loud whatever you guys send, just like a super chat. So, anyways, I have my email up. If anything comes our way, I will definitely read it out loud. All right. Good morning, all you legends. I see everyone in here. Thank you all so much for being here. I got to be really, really quick with this. We got Steve Easy as well as Sick Bastard, Mountain Woman. Thank you guys so much for showing up. We got Rabbit of Chaos as well as Pablo in the building, and Jimmy Mac. Always appreciate it. We got Terrible Times. Feels ultra good to be a G. And then Seymour, good to see you as well. Always appreciate having you in the chat, man. Let's see who else we got in here. We got Carrie, my man. Good to see you as well. SNS, always appreciate you. And let's see, we got Allegedly as well. Good guys, I very much appreciate you. All right, and Prez. All right, so let's go and get right into this. We're going to have to hop right into this. We got a lot to discuss. We've got 11 stories to get through. And a lot of this, we're not going to be listening to every single story all the way through. We're going to be jumping around, skipping through some shit, because I really don't give a shit about people think about what's happening, these political analysts and their way of thinking. I really don't care about that. I care about what is actually happening, right? So, Oil tanker seized off of Venezuela coast. This is in chronological time. We have like 4 fucking updates on this whole thing. This is 1 of 4, basically.
It was breaking news as President Trump announced it. We do know that according to the Associated Press and according to that news conference, President Trump says that the United States has now seized an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. And so this was major news. This is all amid those mounting tensions.
What's up, Prospect Mike? Good to see you in the chat, man. And we also have Virgil as well and Mark. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here.
As well with the Maduro government. And so we're going to continue to dive into what we know a little bit more about this. But if you missed that moment during the press conference, I want to play it out for you here on Live Now from Fox.
Oh, shit.
As you probably know, we've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, a large tanker.
A large fucking... Listen, man, some of these mega fucking, tankers can hold up to 2 million barrels, not gallons, 2 million barrels of basically any type of oil. And it's going to be, trust me, it's going to be a lot of fucking money that is going to be filling whoever. I mean, I guess it's Venezuela's, right? So
Very large. Largest one ever seized, actually. And
largest one ever seized. Wow, that's also very interesting. Real quick, we got Brother So Loud as well as Taylor in the chat. Appreciate both of you guys for hanging out with us this morning.
things are happening, so you'll be seeing that later, and you'll be talking about that later with some other people.
All right, so that was the moment there. And so we wanted to make sure in case meant during the roundtable. But he said today that the United States seized that oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. And this is the Trump administration.
So who owns, is it a Venezuelan ship? Real quick, we got Miss Lotus in the chat as well. Always appreciate you as well. And we got our brother, Straight Jacket. That's the way I know him. But 6-0 Smoke. I appreciate you. And holy shit. What? Oh my God. Allegedly just sent $50 fucking on the Cash App. She just donated 50 last night and said Merry Christmas. But this time she sends 50 and says, for Lucy's Christmas present. We can't forget Lucy over there. She's right over here. Look, she's chilling. Look, she's chilling right here. She's on that armrest. So I'll definitely hook her up. Thank you very much for that, allegedly. That goes a long fucking way. That's awesome.
Latest push to increase pressure on Maduro, who has been charged with narco-terrorism here in the United States. And so after saying that, President Trump said that other things are also happening, but did not offer any additional details at this time, but did say that he will speak more about that later. And so I want to take you back out to this live vantage point that we have there in Washington, D.C. of the White House. But this seizure, though, ultimately was carried out. It was led by the U.S. Coast Guard in an effort that was supported by the Navy, according to a U.S. official who was not authorized to comment publicly, but spoke to the Associated Press. And it was just a day earlier that the U.S. military also flew a pair of fighter jets over the Gulf of Venezuela and what appeared to be the closest that those warplanes have come to the South American country's airspace since the start of the administration's pressure campaign.
None of that is surprising to me. All right, so since we have like 4 updates on this whole thing, now you guys know how it was breaking. We're going to move on, though. We're going to keep on our chronological timeline. So we're going to go now into multiple children injured in a car crash in Anaheim, California. Now, this hits home a little bit, I mean, because I lived in Anaheim for a very short time. But it looked like a pretty brutal scene. Now, I'm not sure how much they're actually going to show. This is a very quick amount or quick update from their side. It's very fast. Let's go ahead and see what they ended up capturing, because I saw this live yesterday. I saw it actually happening live.
You're watching Live Now. I'm Austin Westfall. Let's bring you out to Anaheim, California, a live breaking news scene that we're tracking. We're hearing that multiple...
Yeah, this was the scene that I was watching too.
Kids have been involved in an auto accident in Anaheim. These are live images courtesy of Sky Fox, our affiliate, Fox 11 Los Angeles, reporting on this, saying that a car crash happened at the intersection, for those familiar with the area, of North Street and Harbor Boulevard Wednesday afternoon. Multiple firefighters, they say, were on scene tending to kids and families. I can say, while I've been watching this live feed behind the scenes here, moving to some previously recorded video, I would say this is video from about...
Now, they said they didn't know the exact number because they just say multiple children injured in car crash. And there's a lot of speculation on this whole thing. They were coming back from a party. They were doing this. They were doing that. No one actually, I don't think anyone actually knows yet, aside from maybe authorities. But nonetheless, they said how many, but it looked like it appeared to be 4 children. That's what it appeared to be.
A half hour ago. We were seeing as multiple firefighters and EMTs were responding to what appeared to be multiple people who were laid out, being tended to. Unclear how many kids were involved or the extent of their injuries. These images, as we've been watching for this, I'd say, past hour, showed at least 4 kids on a stretcher being put in.
So they right there, they saw 4 kids be put on stretchers.
To an ambulance, back out to, and yeah, there is one image there showing one of those people being stretchered out. Let's go back.
Now, I'm sure that they're going to come out with some sort of conclusion on why this happened, and they didn't anything in this. They actually say right here, it's unclear how many kids were involved or the extent of their injuries. Images from Skyfox showed at least 4 kids on a stretcher being put into an ambulance. It is also unclear what caused the accident. A red sedan was seen at the crash scene near a streetlight pole. It appears the car hit a small brick fence. And then there's an update. High school students were running when they were hit by car. At least 8 patients were treated for injuries. 3 were transported to area hospitals. Wow. Holy shit. That's fucked. All right. We're going to move on, though. That was the update. Also, another big thing that happened yesterday, the Fed actually cut rates for the 3rd time in a row here in 2025. So let's go ahead and bring this up, and let's go ahead and discuss it a little bit and see what is happening here.
In the nation's capital, let's hit some financial news, specifically the latest on rate cuts. A big announcement from Fed Chair Powell earlier today. I'll let Connor Hansen explain.
That's right, Steve Easy. Make sure you guys go sub over to our buddy Carney.
The Fed votes to make its 3rd and final cut of the year, once again taking it down by a 1/4 percentage point. Investors watched Chairman Jerome Powell's speech for clues about where things will go next year, and it appears rate cuts could be harder to come by.
We are well positioned to wait to see how the economy evolves.
President Trump has been hounding the Fed chair for not making cuts sooner.
Jerome, too late. He's too late with his interest rates. Got to get the rates down, you schmuck.
Some board members dissented. 2 wanted to pause rates, and 1 wanted an even deeper cut. The latest decision comes as the president.
You know what's funny is how everyone, including Trump, wants the Fed to bring down the rates. But truth be told, if you look on an actual objective scale here, not what is going to affect me personally, kind of thing, looking at it objectively and looking at how inflation is working and understanding these facts, believe it or not, I wouldn't have brought down the rates at all, actually. I would have either kept them the exact same that they were at, or I would actually bring it up. I know that sounds fucking brutal, but we are in a bad position with our U.S. dollar right now. So.
Pushes his economic agenda for 2026. Despite some positive trends, Democrats are seizing on a drop in consumer confidence.
Donald Trump and Republicans have done nothing to lower the high cost of living. Costs haven't gone down. Costs are going up.
Democrats talking about affordability is like Bonnie and Clyde preaching about public safety.
President Trump will soon have the chance to replace Powell. Many see Kevin Hassett as the clear frontrunner for the job. The current director of the National Economic Council has stressed that he would keep the Fed independent.
They've got plenty of room to cut rates. They'll do a little bit this time, but they'll probably need to do some more.
Hassett says he expects the president to make his decision on who will be the next Fed chair in the next week or 2. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
I hate when he does that. Fox News.
Bruh. Okay, so let's discuss more. By the way, we continue to track the latest in D.C. Standing by here.
What's up, brother Dwayne?
Lizzie, he's a chief market strategist with the Wealth Consulting Group. He joins us. Let's get into this. So, given that the Federal Reserve is cutting its benchmark,
I really don't want to hear about what you got to say, homie. It only came down a 1/4 point, right? So let me go and read and see if there's anything in here. I'm surprised they actually didn't show right in here. It says approve the 3rd rate cut of the year, aiming to address the U.S. jobs market. Chief market strategist, which I don't care about his honest. I really don't care. But I am surprised I didn't see the exact number of what was cut. Like a 1/4 point. Anyways, we're going to move on into the second update regarding the whole U.S. seizing that oil tanker. So FBI is obviously involved in this, and Kash Patel comes out and puts out a tweet on Twitter, or X, whatever, and we're about to bring that up and show you guys right now. So let's go ahead and bring that. And real quick, before we get into it, remember, we got to get the money part over.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
All right, perfect.
Denied.
We're good. Let's go into this.
We've been telling you all day about President Trump announcing the seizure of an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. Tensions continuing to mount with the government of President Nicolas Maduro. FBI Director Kash Patel posting this online within the past couple of hours, giving a little more context relating to this seizure. He says, today the FBI and our partners executed a seizure warrant for a crude oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. It was used to transport sanctioned oil.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to do one thing. Motobomb and the coffee crew rated us right before we started the show. So I really want to thank you guys for having me on your show this morning, as well as you guys coming over here and hanging out with all of us. I very much appreciate that.
From Venezuela to Iran. The tanker, he says, has been used in recent years in an illicit shipping network supporting foreign terrorist organizations. Patel saying he's proud of our great partners who executed the mission. He lists some of the partners there. He says this administration's efforts to crush FTOs, that's foreign terrorist organizations, and cut off their resources will continue day and night. Attached to that is this video of the seizure itself taking place. The U.S. government posting these images.
Which I did see these images yesterday.
Within the past couple of hours, we are tracking this story closely. This was an incredibly unusual move by the Trump administration to seize an oil tanker. It's marking a stark increase of pressure on the federal government.
That looks like one of those, what we call them ATC ships, American Tanker Corporation, I believe. ATC ships, it's just a class of ship that this company specifically builds, but they are huge. They are big, and they carry anywhere from like 1.5 to 2 million barrels per ship. You guys got to remember, this is not 2 million gallons of oil, 2 million barrels, which is 42 gallons in a barrel.
But one sidebar we're also hearing about has to do with oil prices. Oil prices settled higher on Wednesday after officials said that the U.S. seized that tanker off the coast of Venezuela. It's adding to concerns about immediate
What's up,
supplies.
Steve Posey?
Standing by here is Sharik Khan. He's with Reuters. He wrote about this for the Newswire. So Sharik, thanks for coming on. I got to ask you, what type of challenges does the seizure of a large vessel like this bring to the global supply chain?
Yes, thanks for having me here, Austin. What we saw today was almost an immediate reaction to the seizure.
Bruh.
Oh my God!
Shit.
As soon as the first headlines hit, we saw oil prices go up more than 20 cents in a minute. What this represents for the oil market in the immediate term is a concern that supplies from Venezuela could tighten if there are more such actions from the Trump administration against.
You know what this guy respectfully reminds me of, dude? I just got to do it now. I just got to do it.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck-ups when you have tomorrow's fuck-ups to look forward to? You are a fuck-up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
Embrace the process. Shit. We got Stacks in the building. Shout out to my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning. And yes, Slurpee. Shit.
Venezuelan oil supply. Last month, our reporting shows that Venezuela had exported around 900,000 barrels per day of oil. That's not nothing. That's almost, if you take 100 million barrels per day as the global oil supply rough estimate, that's almost 1% of global supply. So the immediate concern for the oil market here is that this could tighten availability of we saw traders kind of put this, what we call a risk premium in the price of oil, kind of hedging against the possibility of future disruptions.
So who uses Venezuelan oil primarily?
Most of the Venezuelan oil heads primarily to Asia. Last month, we saw that most of the oil went to China in particular.
Well, this was a really good question by Austin.
So
lots of Asian countries, but primarily China.
There's been some sporadic reporting about perhaps...
Because doesn't China, own them fucks in a certain way?
The idea of Venezuela and Iran trading oil. And
I mean, China theoretically owns a lot of fucking people, including us. I mean, they got a lot of our debt.
Correct me if I'm wrong here. Those are two nations that have their own oil, correct? Why would those nations need to trade oil with one another?
It's essentially dictated by market conditions. Venezuela, the type of oil produced by each country differs, and the way that refineries around the world are set up, they often.
Which is true. It's like no matter where's oil, depending on where it is, it's got a different grade to it. You know, it's kind of like got its own DNA actually. When I used to move oil, we used to do like oil samples and shit like that, and we would test every fucking thing about the tanks and the product, right? It's like a DNA slip. And here in America and in Western countries, we use some really good quality fucking oil. And Venezuela oil, I believe, is to be a little bit, I mean, though they have, that's their one resource. That's the one thing that they've got on lock for themselves, but they got bought out. I mean, they're not making any fucking actual big time money at this point. These guys fucking, they're throwing away their actual money into the garbage shit because it's worthless at this point.
Require different types of crude oil grades. So these issues, who buys how much oil, this is entirely dictated by market conditions and which country requires what kind of oil.
Okay, so I agree with that, but we're going to move on. We have two more updates regarding this whole oil tanker situation. One of these updates being yesterday, oil tanker seized by U.S. in, quote, illicit shipping network, FBI says. So let's go and see what the hell the claim is from the FBI and figure this out together.
Okay, let's track the latest as it relates to this story right here. We've been following details as the Trump administration announced today that the U.S. seized an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. This comes as tensions continue to mount with the government.
What's up, Bree? And yes, happy birthday to our brother Sick Bastard.
President Nicolas Maduro. Reuters saying that U.S. forces seized this tanker in an incredibly unusual move. It marks the Trump administration's latest push to increase pressure on Maduro. Standing by is retired Marine Intelligence Officer, national security analyst, and host of the Strat podcast, Hal Kempfer. He's here.
Here comes
he
Hal.
worked the war on drugs under U.S. Southern Command. Southern Command follows, and really Southern Command's jurisdiction is this exact territory that we're talking about. This is yet another push of pressure against the Maduro government, Hal.
Right.
Reuters calls this an incredibly unusual move. How unusual is this?
You know, Austin, it is unusual, and one of the reasons that it's being done is simply because we have the forces there to do it. In many cases, these tankers, these sometimes called dark tankers are involved in various smuggling.
I don't know what Toasties is, Steve Easy. You're gonna have to clarify what Toasties is, but I have to get a new TWIC certification, which is, if you guys don't know, Transportation Workers Identification Credential, and I still got mine actually. But yeah, holy fuck.
Of sanctioned oil and things like that, which is what this tanker is accused of doing. They go in and out. They don't get stopped because we just simply don't have the forces on hand to do the interdiction. In this case, that tanker came out of the port in Venezuela, and we have this massive naval armada out there and everything that we need to stop it. And technically, and I'm not sure if those were Coast Guardsmen.
Not really. I because I'm not updating. The only reason why, Steve Easy, is because I'm not planning on renewing my licenses. That's the only reason. Now, if I actually was renewing my federal licenses, then of course I would have to deal with them. But I don't, because I'm not attempting to renew anything.
That were actually rappelling onto the ship could have been Navy SEALs, or could have been Marine Raiders or anything.
Well, Sterling, think about it. Let's just go ahead and say 2 million barrels in one ship, right? And look at what the cost of a barrel of oil is, of crude oil or of fuel oil or diesel or jet fuel or any of that shit. Yeah, it's brutal. It's very, very, very expensive, bro.
Could have been any mix that went on the ship, but the vessel is actually being seized by the U.S. Coast Guard. And it's being held. It's somewhat unusual. It's big. It's about 1.1 million barrels of oil on that tanker. That's more than the daily output of Venezuela. So it's a lot of oil, but it is a very forceful enforcement of some of the sanctions that we have on oil-producing countries.
So Trump said today, and I'm reading this, he said, quote, "We've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela. It's a large tanker, very large, largest one we've ever seized, actually." He says it was seized for a very good reason.
And we heard that in the very, very beginning, that this is the largest one that we've ever seized, ever.
We heard from Kash Patel later on. He posted this on social media saying,
here we go.
The FBI and partners executed a seizure warrant for a crude oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. They say it was used to transport sanctioned oil from Venezuela to Iran. They say the tanker...
Wow, they're saying it was going to Iran.
Interesting. Been used in recent years in an illicit shipping network supporting foreign terrorist organizations. So, Hal, is this the very good reason that President Trump is talking about? Could there be any other reasons?
It's
no, not. It's not the only one we've ever seized. It's the largest one we've ever seized. We've definitely seized other ships.
Very good reasons. Part of it is it focuses on Iran and Iranian oil and sanctioned Iranian oil, particularly now under the snapback provisions that have kicked back in on Iran. So that's part of it. Part of it is looking at that. And you can bet that we have a lot of ways that this has been identified, not just by the U.S., but by other countries.
Steve Easy, let me go ahead and cast my vote. Yeah.
Countries involved with illegal shipments of oil
from
Iran to various different other places. I would not be surprised if we find out that this was involved with ship-to-ship transfers at sea, which are very hazardous, potentially causing significant environmental damage. That could have been some of the stuff done. This particular load, though, was coming out of Venezuela, was supposed to be going up to Cuba, and then was going to get transshipped, from what I can tell, probably over to China. But, you know, it was bringing sanctioned oil out, stopped it, and it had been linked to a number of other illegal maritime activities, and that was probably enough. And there's also a report out that the individual that either owns the ship or owns the cargo, wasn't quite clear to me, is linked to Maduro and other senior Venezuelan officials. He's shown up on a list as someone who's been targeted with sanctions. And of course, you know, Maduro and his senior leadership are tied to Cartel de Solis, which we have declared to be a terrorist organization. Hence, you see the connection to terrorism, not just terrorism coming out of Iran, but terrorism tied to the narco cartels, particularly the drug cartels in Venezuela.
You're looking at the same footage I'm looking at right now. What's your reaction to seeing U.S.
I definitely agree with that, Billy.
Forces going down and seizing this tanker? We're seeing the actual footage, Hal.
I mean, it's it's a standard operation. I've done that many times. You know, they're just helicopter comes in, they fast rope down, and they're executing the way the way that they're trained, and they're operationally focused on doing that. We have a number of forces.
Here, SST, I got you.
A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
Bullshit. All right, we're gonna move on though. All right, our next story here, because we still have an update leading up to this. We still have an update at the very end. Washington flood, statewide emergency declared. Now, this is regarding Washington State, and they're getting hammered right now with the whole flooding situation. Let's bring this up, and it is a fairly long segment, but we're not going to play the whole segment, but we'll skip around and see what's happening here.
Live look, really a...
And because it's a live look of what we're looking, I'm not going to go ahead and speed it up.
Fairly dark look at Washington State. This specific shot you're looking at is...
Anytime I show you guys like actual moving things on camera, I try my best to not speed it up at all, because I don't want it to be over exaggerated, you know.
Cedar River in Maple Valley, Washington. We're talking about Washington State because the second round of a 1-2 punch continues to batter portions of the state, with heavy rain causing several local rivers to flood. We've also got this live look at EB Island in Washington State as well. We're hearing that this camera has been catching.
Now, there's been lots of evacuations. I'm surprised that he really didn't lead off with that, and how many evacuations have been sent out already.
People evacuating intermittently. Let's check in with our partners at Fox 13 in Seattle. Standing by, Alejandra Guzman. She is with Casey.
And they're calling it historic flooding over there. Pacific Northwest slammed with historic flooding.
PPQ in Seattle. What are you feeling out there, and what have you been seeing all day?
Yeah, this is brutal, Steve.
Good evening, Austin. As you can see, it is only 5:15 here, and it is pitch black. And this is just one of the situations that not only residents but officials say makes what we're dealing here within Washington that much more dire. We're going to try to show you a little bit of the flowing conditions here. This is the Skagit River up in the northern part of western Washington, and you can see briefly just how quickly it's flowing. We've been out here maybe about an hour, and we can hear just how rapidly not only is the water flowing,
conscious, no kidding,
but with it flowing so fast at this point, we're hearing there is a bit of trees that are smack in the middle of this river, and they're just snapping off like twigs being carried downstream.
Well, that is what happens. Let's go ahead and see if there's any other images here, which it looks like there is.
Matt here has actually lived in the area his entire life, and he tells me that he's never seen the river get this high this quick. So we've also know that this Skagit River actually flows further down south. We started our day up in Mount Vernon and speaking to residents there who are also just right up along the same river, Skagit River.
Which is brutal. Let's see here.
Hearing that the emergency management folks are urging you to be ready to evacuate.
Well, we've been through this before. And because we're on a straightaway.
I'm sure you have. Let's see if there's any other images here, because we don't need to sit here and get anecdotal experience. I want to see what's happening.
The specific shot is in Cedar River.
Wow, look at that shit. Look at that shit right there. Man, that is not a good sign.
Cedar River in Maple Valley, Washington. I believe we had one other vantage point. It looks like we may have lost that.
Anyways, all right, we're moving on, though. We're moving on into Australia now. Australia begins enforcing social media ban for children. That's children under the age of 16, for clarification there. Now, we actually reported on this earlier in the week, and we discussed Australia and their decision on that. I even asked you guys, do you guys believe in that, or do you think it should be up to the parents, kind of thing? Very interesting ideologies there on that question. But nonetheless, Australia begins enforcing social media bans for children. And let's go ahead and bring this up. And it only took them a couple days to go ahead and start doing this and start cracking down. So
welcome back
to
Live from Fox. I'm Shauna Kalafi. Australia has officially begun enforcing its ban on social media for kids. This is a post from Reuters on X.
Be safe, Miss Lotus. Always appreciate you. Thank you very much for being here.
Australia became the first country to ban social media for children younger than 16, blocking platforms including TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. They also said Australia's ban on social media for children younger than 16 is being closely watched by other nations amid concerns about online safety and health. Considering following suit with Australia is
what I'm guessing, Pablo, if I had to do some sort of like connect the dots kind of thing, is kind of like one of many things. Let's just go ahead and go with, well, maybe they don't want to use their oil reserve. They want to keep their oil for them and their trade, or whatever the case is. Or maybe Iran has some sort of fucked up weird deal, maybe because of China or whatever the case is, that oil is broken off to Iran, and then Iran takes it and then flips it and sells it to Russia. You know what I mean? And then Russia probably sells it to, so I'm sure there's all sorts of weird shit going on. Do they need to import anything? Do they need to do anything like that? Probably not on a resource level. But on a strategic trade level, that's the difference.
The U.S., as lawmakers in Washington are now considering whether they should do those details.
Wednesday, Aussie teens are coming to grips with the fact they can no longer scroll for hours on TikTok or Instagram, with the country's teen social media ban officially in effect.
As young Australians, we will be completely silenced and cut off from our country and the rest of the world with this ban.
Australia's Prime Minister says the ban's a necessary step to keep kids safe from online bullies and mental health risks.
It is about our families taking back control. Technology can have an amazing impact on making our life easier. But it is important as technology develops that humans keep control.
It's caught the attention of Washington, and former Chicago mayor
You're not going to be able to keep control.
Manual wants lawmakers to take action.
Look, when it comes to our adolescents, it's either going to be adults or the algorithms. One of them is going to raise the kids.
Bills with similar bans haven't gained much momentum in Congress because of concerns they would infringe on free speech. But lawmakers on both sides say it's worth revisiting.
You know, there's a lot of equities you'd have to work out around liberties and freedoms. Sadly, the Congress has utterly failed to put
Steve Easy, I couldn't explain that shit to you, bro. I really couldn't.
in place any regulation that would help protect the harm. So maybe these more aggressive measures make some sense.
DC needs to do something. They need to take a step back from the grip that big tech has on them and think about their children and the next generation.
Several U.S. states already require parental consent for teens on social media, while Florida's law banning teens under 13 was just approved in federal court last week. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Now, under this new law, the biggest social media platforms, including TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, must prohibit underage users under the age of 16, or they could face a fine. Now, let's bring in a local who is actually feeling the effects of this. We have Cam Wilson from Crikey News joining us live in Australia.
Crikey News.
Yeah, thanks for being here with us.
Hi, good to be here. And I know I do look young, but I'm not under 16, so it's not fully affecting me.
It's not directly affecting you, but you are seeing what the fallout
Shit.
Why are you gay?
out of this is, right? There's been a big reaction there in Australia. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I mean, so the law behind it actually was passed over a year ago, and there was this 12-month lead-in to figure out the details about how the government would implement it, and more importantly, how the government would make these
A dingo ate her baby. That's right.
tech platforms implemented. Come yesterday, December 10, the day that millions of Australian teenagers who between the ages of 13 and 16 who were supposed to be kicked off social media, it was a day that there were a few stumbles. I would say that one of the major news stories of yesterday was that many teens were simply able to get around it. They didn't even have to go to alternative platforms. They didn't even need to give them their ID or scan their face, but they were able to fool the systems of many of the major platforms to convince them that they were over 16 and to keep access. And so, they're doing everything from...
Well, exactly. I mean, you don't think that you got some 15-year-old kid and it says, nope, you can't join Instagram because you now have to be 16 in Australia to join any platform. Do you think the 15-year-old's going to be like, oh, I guess I'm going to wait till next year? or do I just move my birth date by 1 year? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know how you enforce this, really.
Scrunching up their faces to make it look like they've got more wrinkles so the machine thought they're a bit older, or putting on makeup, all these kinds of things just to essentially be able to stay on. Now, the government has said, hey, this system, although we've had a year lead in, it's not going to be perfect. It's an ongoing process. We expect these platforms to keep...
What's up, Brother Trouble? Hopefully you're enjoying your morning as well. I definitely know that we are.
...on checking the ages of their users, but you wouldn't say it was a dream start for the government.
Yeah, like you mentioned, even after this is being enforced, we're still seeing some Australian users who are claiming to be under 16 but still have active accounts, and they're kind of trolling on social media now too, leaving comments, kind of letting people know that they're still allowed there. So can you tell us about some of this activity on social media still?
Well, I'm sure that it's especially Australians, man. The young, it seems like the culture there is just like fucking brutal with some shit, and the people, not the government. The government's gay, okay? They're very, very gay. But the people are awesome.
Yeah, it's a very Australian thing. We love to think that we're larrikins. We love to think that we speak, we treat everyone the same and speak truth to power, even, the most powerful people in the country. And you saw that in action with the comment section of the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, who was talking about this morning, the teens are going to be off it. They're going to start their day differently without social media. But looking in the comment section, there are a lot of people who claim to be teens who are saying, I'm still here. You haven't got me off. So yes, there were teens, boasting about the fact that they were able to get around it. There were teens sharing techniques about how to get around it. In fact,
I'm sure
from a mum who actually said, the teen social media ban did kind of work in a way because I did see kids interacting offline. They were all talking about how they could get around the ban, sharing tips and tricks to get around it. So yes, I think one of the big stories.
Man, they showed a fucking a picture of YouTube when it looked like that in 2005. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Look at that shit. This shit hasn't looked like that. If you still got, and if you use Internet Explorer, dude, just stop. Just get off the internet.
So, yes, I think one of the big stories of the first day was that it is not a perfect system. The government from the start has said, we don't expect this to be perfect. We, in fact, think that it will get better over time. And also, we think, some of the methods that we use to be constantly monitoring users, to be checking if they do things that indicate their age. For example, we know Meta, which owns Facebook, actually has an algorithm that analyzes posts that you post online. And if you suddenly...
That's really fucking weird. That it can guess your age on what you're posting or what you're sharing or whatever the case is. That's interesting. Okay, so we're going to move on, though. because we still have 1, 2, 3, 4 fucking stories to cover. And we're gonna speed through these because this one right here is actually a very quick update. Ex-Michigan football head coach arrested hours after being fired. Just 2 hours after he was fired, well, he ended up getting arrested. So let's go ahead and figure out what is happening. We'll discuss it here together. And here we go.
Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox. The time 7:16 on the East Coast and 4:16 on the West Coast. I want to get you right in your headlines here, as we always check with our different Fox affiliates. Former Michigan head football coach now behind bars this morning. I do want to head over to Robin Murdoch. She is with our Fox 2 Detroit team about what we know so far. And it sounds as though, Robin, police not really saying a whole lot just yet.
Yeah, police are being very careful about what they say due to the sensitive nature of this situation. Josh, I can tell you, though, that we are currently standing outside the Washtenaw County Jail here in Ann Arbor, and this is where the former head coach for the University of Michigan's football team is being held. And to give you some perspective, this is about 30 miles away from Detroit. From what we understand...
Now, he got fired because he was having, quote, inappropriate relations with a staff member.
Sharon...
Shit.
Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Moore is being held here while the prosecutor's office reviews possible charges against him. Now, again, investigators are not sharing a lot of information about the case at this point, but we have been able to confirm that the Moore was detained following an incident involving Pittsfield Township Police yesterday afternoon. Now, that department put out a press release saying officers were dispatched to a home in connection to an alleged assault. Now, we are told this does not appear to be a random act, but this is all that police will say due to the sensitive nature of this case. Now, this comes just hours after the University of Michigan fired Moore over what's being described as a staff member. Students on campus obviously very surprised by the latest developments.
Very surprised. I ain't.
Developments. Take a listen to what they had to say.
I'm really surprised, honestly.
Why are you gay?
Oh my God.
Bruh.
Brutal. How are you gonna be like all surprised, bro? You don't even like women.
Thought after Harbaugh left, it may be a good idea to kind of clean house and get everybody out, but I was not expecting this to happen. And
what's up, Joseph? We got my man up there in Canada. Always appreciate it. He says, "Stop the cap."
Stop the cap.
Absolutely, for the haters.
Not certain what they're going to do
Appreciate
now. Everyone
you,
else
my
has been
man.
hired.
Tiffany, good morning.
Now, the University of Michigan's athletic director did release a statement in response to Moore's firing, and that statement does say in part that following a university investigation, credible evidence was found that...
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, Eddie. I personally don't know any information on, quote, staff member, so... I just know that it was a staff member.
Coach Moore engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. The conduct constitutes a clear violation of university policy, and U of M maintains zero tolerance for such behavior, end quote. Now, Moore has been with the University of Michigan since 2018.
That's pretty funny, Joseph. How did I fucking influence him to say stop the cap today? I wasn't even there today. Shit, stop the chirp. Yes, stop the chirp. All right, so we're moving on. The last update regarding this tanker that was seized. Venezuela's Maduro responds prepared to take teeth, he says. This comes out only 2 hours ago, so let's go ahead and bring this up. And here we go.
Right now, I do want to get you right back into your headlines here on this Thursday. Take a look at your screen. Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro issued a warning to the U.S. as President Trump announced the U.S. had seized an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela, continuing a rise in tensions between the two countries. This is video released there by Attorney General Pam Bondi showing it all unfold. Now, while Maduro did not directly address the U.S. seizure of the tanker, he spoke before a ruling party demonstration in Caracas. Maduro telling supporters that Venezuela is, quote, prepared to break the teeth of the North American empire if necessary, end quote. President Trump making the announcement about that seizure just yesterday.
As you probably know, we've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, a large tanker.
Which, by the way, this was the very, very breaking of the oil tanker seizure. When we covered this at the very, very beginning, just so you guys know. So they're pulling a clip from yesterday and discussing and bringing us up to date today.
Very large. Largest one ever seized, actually. And other things are happening, so you'll be seeing that later, and you'll be talking about that later with some other people.
And again, this is that video that was released afterward by Attorney General Pam Bondi. She posted it on her Twitter page. And the U.S. military flying a pair of fighter jets over the Gulf of Venezuela earlier in the week in what appears to be the closest that American warplanes have come to the South American country's airspace since President Trump and his administration began their anti-cartel campaign. Public flight tracking website showing a pair of U.S. Navy F/A-18 fighter jets flying over the Gulf and spending more than 30 minutes flying over water.
Now I want to see what Maduro said, man. Get to it.
U.S. defense official telling the Associated Press while remaining anonymous that the jets conducted a training flight in the area. A lot of questions about all of that here, so I do want to bring in a friend of the show, Matthew Wiz Buckley, retired Navy F/A-18 fighter pilot, Top Gun grad, and founder of the No Fallen Heroes Foundation. Thank you so much for taking the time, as always, to join us here.
Good morning, Josh. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, so first off, I do want to ask you kind of overall here, as I did mention, you are a retired Navy F/A-18 fighter pilot. These aircraft that we're talking about are F/A-18. So can you start by kind of explaining what that aircraft is and what, Jess?
No, I don't need them to do that. Homeland Security comes out with X. Knockout. If you threaten our nation or break the law, there is no place on land or sea. Thank you to the brave service members from U.S. Coast Guard, ICE, FBI, Department of War, and Justice Department. Okay, but what I want to see is what Maduro supposedly said. I want to see that. Yeah, so Maduro says prepared to break the teeth of U.S. Okay.
And just like the Russians, Josh, they'll send some of their bombers and fighter aircraft off the coast of Alaska to test our reaction times. We'll scramble some F-22s or some F-35s to intercept them and get some nice pictures. As long as you're staying in international airspace, you're really not poking the bear too much. But we're doing it, Josh, because we can. And I guarantee you those F-18s are doing a little as well. Don't forget that these platforms are also electronic sponges. We'll get it lit up by enemy radar and aircraft and other sources and systems so we can record it. And the intel folks back on the boat are recording all of these things. So and it's just a little bit of a provocation, to be honest with you, and a show of force. Hey, we can fly in this airspace, and there is just absolutely nothing you can do about it.
What do you think the American people overall need to know about this situation that is playing out right there between the U.S. and Venezuela, talking, of course, about the oil tanker as well as the flying there over the Gulf of Venezuela?
That's a great question, Josh. Let's go ahead and see if Matthew is actually with it here.
Venezuela, but also the situation in general that's been unfolding.
Josh, I talked to a lot of Americans in my travels. I'm actually out here in Colorado for a fundraiser, and the regular Americans I talk to are overjoyed. We've been using the term war on drugs, Josh, for decades. I don't know how long. I think President Nixon came up with the term. But, Josh, it hasn't been a war on drugs, has it? It's been a Vietnam on drugs. The folks on the front lines have been fighting or not with one or maybe even two hands tied behind their back. So if you're going to use the word war, hey, we're going to have a war on drugs, then mean it. So I'm pretty sure all the average Americans that I'm talking to are saying, hey, finally, we are trying to stop the flow of drugs into this country that are killing Americans.
This is bullshit. It has nothing to do with the drugs. It has all to do with regime change. I mean, let's just be fucking real. It's about regime change. That's what the whole thing is about. And we're able to do that right now because they're labeled a terrorist organization, which allows us to do whatever the fuck we want to do to them. That's what it allows us to do. And that's the truth. And I don't care one way or the other if they want to sit here and say, oh, we're doing some righteous shit, stopping the drug flow, blah, blah, blah. Well, then stop it from China. Stop it from Mexico. Stop it from the cartel. What? Anyways, I'm going to move on. We got Charlie Kirk assassination to make first in-person court appearance. This just came out an hour ago. Super interesting development here. Let's go ahead and bring this up, and we will discuss it quickly here.
Right now, I do want to get you
quick
some
update.
other headlines that we are following here at this hour, and this is going to be a big one. As we know later on today, we expect the Charlie Kirk murder suspect to make his first in-person court appearance. Lawyers for the 22-year-old Utah man are due in court today as they push to further limit media access in the high-profile case. A Utah judge weighing the public's right to know details in Tyler Robinson's case against his attorney's concerns that the swarm of media attention could interfere with his right to a fair trial. Robinson's legal team and the Utah County Sheriff's Office asking Judge Tony Graff to ban cameras in the courtroom. Prosecutors have charged Robinson with aggravated murder in the September shooting death of the conservative activist on the Utah Valley University campus in Orem, just a few miles north of the courthouse. They do plan, they say, to seek the death penalty against the suspect. Robinson was expected to appear in person after making previous court appearances via video or audio feed from jail. Now, that is according to a transport order that was obtained by the Associated Press here. A coalition of national and local news organizations that includes the Associated Press fighting to preserve the media access in the case and cameras. Graff has already made allowances to protect Robinson's presumption of innocence before a trial, agreeing that the case has drawn, quote, extraordinary public attention. Graff did hold a closed hearing back on October 24th, where attorneys discussed Robinson's courtroom attire and security protocols. Under another ruling by the judge, Robinson is allowed to wear street clothes in court during pretrial hearings, but may be physically restrained due to any kind of security concerns. Graff also prohibited media from filming or photographing Robinson's restraints after his attorneys argued widespread images of him shackled.
Real quick, gotta show some love. We got Quick Shoe in the building. Shout out to my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so
and
far.
In jail clothing could prejudice any further jurors if the case does go to trial. Now, Michael Judd, who's an attorney for the Media Coalition, has urged Graff to let the news organizations weigh in on any future requests for closed hearings or other limitations. The media presence at Utah hearings is already limited, with judges often designating one photographer and one videographer to document a hearing and share their images with the other news organizations. Additional journalists can typically attend to listen and take notes, as members of the public can do as well. Judd wrote in recent filings that an open court, quote, safeguards the integrity of the fact-finding process while...
Listen, man, this whole limited media access is all bullshit. This is all fucking some bullshit. All right, we're going to do one last thing because one of the last updates in the media is anti-ICE protesters interrupt Noam during, quote, worldwide threats hearing. All right, so let's go and bring this up, and it's a very quick segment here, and then we're going to be rating our buddy Black Dragon. It looks like he's still alive, so we'll go ahead and send you guys over there.
I'm looking forward to discussing the worldwide threats that this country faces and the work that President Trump and his administration does each and every day to make America safe again. I'm very privileged and honored today to have my family with me. I'd like to introduce them to you.
Disruptions of congressional
100,000% paid for, guaranteed. Well, this is standard operation. Just so everyone knows, in politics, people are hired all the time, legitimately, to go in there and protest. This has been basically since conception of this country.
Business is a violation of law, is a criminal offense under federal law. Audience members are advised to take their seats and maintain order. The chairman may now ask Capitol Police to remove and arrest the persons creating the disturbance.
Stop terrorizing your community.
There's another one. Yep.
Stop terrorizing your community.
There's probably two more in that room somewhere.
Terrorizing your community.
Secretary, may continue.
Chairman, I'll continue. Today with me, I have my husband, Brian, who's with me, and also two of my children. My oldest daughter, Cassidy, and her husband, Kyle, are sitting here in the front row. And then my middle child, Kennedy, and her husband, Tanner, and that was my grandbaby, Noah, that was crying a little bit during the ranking member's comments. I don't think she agreed with him. I don't have my son with me.
Oh, there's another one right there.
Here are three of my...
Why is she just walking out willingly? That's probably, she's like, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and scream. Oh, they're looking and laughing because she's walking out peacefully.
Grandchildren.
She's like, you just took my husband. I got to go.
But I'm very blessed that I have a wonderful family who is here and loves this country and is grateful to the work that we get to do as a family each and every day. We also have the blessing of having some angel families with us as well. They are here in the audience, and I'm so grateful for them for being willing to come here and be strong. It's hard to lose someone that you dearly love to illegal criminal activity, to people who never should have been in our country to begin with, and to lose those loved ones to...
Is there going to be another outburst here? Doesn't look like it. She looks like she just continues on. Okay, so that was what the update was. All right, you gotta show a little, love to the, political theater here, so It's all fucking cap, bro.
Stop the cap.
All right. Listen, I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough. Stick around for the raid. We're going to be raiding our buddy Black Dragon. Let him know we're coming through with the Mike Ball raid. And listen, we'll be back tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness. Always appreciate every single one of you guys and your engagement, hitting that like button. Also, sending donations. Man, I'm deeply honored, man. So listen, we'll be back tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness. Until then, God bless everyone. We'll talk to you guys very soon. Much love.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning.